All right. Hey, everyone. My name is Dee Corchin. I am thrilled you guys took time out of your busy schedules for our Tuesday night team time, which is just a great opportunity for us. You know, we're all out there as independent business owners, and it's just so important to come together in community. One, just so we can have that energy of working together, but then we can learn together and move forward together. So it's April 22nd already. So we are well into this month, and we're continuing our discussion on this week is on building blended path executive director. So the conversation is really around not only for yourself, which is the best way to build your business, but also as you bring coaches on, we absolutely want to be modeling and teaching blended path executive director. And what that means, if you're new to this, is there's two different ways that we can build our business, and they really go hand in hand. One is by helping coaches, one is by helping clients, and that's what we tend to think of right away, is that we want to help more and more and more clients. But we also know that if we're only doing that, we're truly just running a diet coach business, which is not what Optavia is. We are truly a health organization. So with that, we are constantly looking for and offering the coach opportunity to our clients as well, to provide for them the time freedom and financial that they might be looking for that suits their needs. And what that does for you in your business is it starts to provide the freedom that you're looking for, the time freedom that you're looking for. Raise your hand if you've ever felt it a little tiring to keep looking for clients over and over, more and more and more and more. And if that's the case, I thought that if you watch the pre-training video, I thought they did a great job. They said, you really created a nice job for yourself, and it can be exhausting. But if we start to build our business that we're helping coaches as well, that's a way that you can leverage that way more people get helped, and your income and your time can grow exponentially in your favor. And so that's ultimately where we want to go with it. So that's what tonight's conversation is about. Because we sometimes get a little short on time and we're rushing, I want to take the opportunity first to tell you what else is available to you on Monday nights. So Monday nights, we start with our team call, and we stacked that purposely up against Dr. A's call. That a couple while back, we did a survey that you guys had wanted that, so we could not have so many calls on different nights of the week. So we meet our team. This is our organization. We meet from 7:30 to 8. And then Dr. A, who is the co-founder of our company, and Dr. A, he does a call at 8 p.m. And that is him and all the leaders really speaking about the vision and the direction and what is happening with the company, and what's available to you as coaches. So real important. And then two new things that have been added on Monday evenings is at 8:30, there is coaching now available to us, training from Team One, which is the absolute top coaches that have built incredible organizations through their incredible teaching. It's called Equipping You for Success, and that's from 8:30 to 9. And then at 9 p.m., Dan Bell, who is our integrated presidential director, he developed the business model, and he is over our entire organization. He is now available to us from 9 to 9:30. So not expected that you attend it all. If you want to, that is awesome. If you need help prioritizing, we will help you with that. But this is there because we know that learners are earners, like people who earn more. If you learn and you put it into action, there's a big distinction there, you will earn more that way. So just because you're skilled up your skill development. So thank you, Meg. Good to see you were on. So if you had a chance to watch the pre-training for this particular segment on building blended path executive directors, could you just put a 1 in the chat so we can start to see? And if you had a big takeaway, maybe put it in there as well, or if you found it helpful. So we'll just have that going through. And as we're talking about things coming up, just a reminder, on Tuesday nights now for the next few weeks, we have our boot camp, our Massive Momentum boot camp. Meg and I have been having a blast working on that with you guys, and have a great topic and training tomorrow night for you. So that's tomorrow night at 8. And I just wanted to remind you, if you're new on the call or a new coach, about National Convention. And so now is the time to be registering for National Convention. You probably got an email today about it because it is starting to reach capacity. So they want everybody to register. And National Convention is what I call Optavia University. It is the best training that you can get and really your full exposure to what Optavia offers. Yeah, thank you guys for who are commenting about National Convention. I went to National Convention. I had become a coach in April. My coach started talking to me about it to go in July, and I was like, why would I do that? And then I went, and I was so glad I did because it opened my eyes to what is possible. And they always say leaders are born at events. So I'll post in our coach group this week about the link to that. But go ahead and register, start working on your arrangements, and you will be so glad that you attended. So let's start talking about building Blended Path Executive Director. For yourself or for somebody on your team, tell me, let's just start to verbalize and process some of the things that we learned from that video, from the training, and maybe something that you might have a question or need some help with. And Meg and Julie and I are all going to jump in for responding. So something, if you watch the training, something that jumped out at you, or if you've got concerns about building a blended path business or how to help somebody do that.
So
Nobody watched it.
One of the things that struck me was when they talked about working in depth. And how do you know, how do you go about doing that without offending your coach? How do you go about working with those? Because they talked about how important it was to identify in depth and continue to work that way.
So that comes, that's a great question. So she's saying that how do you, because when you become a business coach, what happens is you have a coach under you who then has clients under them and then potentially coaches under them. So how do we ensure that the system is being replicated, right? I guess is probably the bigger question, so that everybody is getting exposure to what Optavia offers to them and the mentorship available as well as the opportunity. So it truly comes from modeling for them. And you can start this at any time, but basically all your clients now, you personally want to be bringing your clients for those celebration and or tips calls, whatever you want to call it, be bringing them, and also be bringing them to potentially coach explorers too. So that when they become a coach, it is a very natural process to them. And you would, of course, do your health assessments with them and help get them going until they got to senior coach. And then like you're starting to get to know their people. And it's a very normal process because they're like, oh, this is what you did for me. So it's not unusual that then you would say, hey, it's time to do Susie's tip call or something. So it comes from modeling, right? But you can start from anywhere. So maybe you haven't done that yet. Just start that now with everybody. For the past, I mean, really what you want to do is just work closely with the coach and just, offer your availability. And maybe I think it's best to have a conversation around it, that, how it could benefit them and their clients if you start some of these conversations. So is that helpful?
Yeah, I think what hung me up a little bit was when they talked about that you have your 3-point coach, and then you're not stopping there. You're actually working with this number 2 coach over here, and then this number 4 coach over, and you're continuing to go down and work in depth. But how do you do that without offending, a coach that maybe isn't working with these people like they probably could be?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, so maybe they brought on a coach, and you're not sure that coach is getting the support that they.
No, just the fact that they're maybe not identifying coaches within their front line.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe you see that, you maybe see somebody that you think is going to be a good potential coach, but they haven't really done much with them. How do you go in there and start working with that person, or, kind of encouraging them?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we always want to be sensitive to any coach that's under us, that we really want to be sensitive and not, they call that reaching over, but like we want to do it with permission or with explanation why, So I would, if it was me, I would first reach to the coach and try to have a verbal conversation and just say, hey, this is what I see. This is what I'm seeing, and I see potential, underneath you. And I'd really love to talk to specifically Susie. She's all over our client board, whatever it is you see. And I'm just curious if you talked to her about coaching yet. Would you mind if I reached and said something, or encouraged her? And if you can't make that, connection, then I think maybe I would do a verbal, leave a voicemail. Hey, I'm so, thank you so much for, I'd first try to have the conversation. And if not, let them know what you are doing. And it might just be you send a quick private message to the person, just, hey, I'm, so excited to see you sharing on our board. Keep going. How you enjoying the program, and see if maybe you can engage in a conversation. That was a good one.
And Dee, can I jump in real quick on that?
Please.
A lot of times I just go back to when I was a brand new coach and I was worried about having my front line and my $6,000 in frontline volume. I didn't have my coach glasses on. I didn't know who would be a good coach. And honestly, I was living in a little bit of scarcity. If somebody becomes a coach, my front line's going to go down because their friends aren't going to come to me as referrals. So I always assume that other people, my coaches, are thinking that to themselves too, because that's what I was thinking. Right? So it just becomes a conversation that you can have to just open it up, and you can share my story if you want, of just how it's changed. Like when I was able to change my mindset around coaching, and I could see, man, when I offered it coaching to people, it helps me help so many more people. So I try to explain it that way, and then really encourage them to get on an explore call. And try to, and I think the challenge, and maybe even challenge a coach. Do you think you could bring me one person to have an explore call this week? Like we're doing kind of in the boot camp. That's one idea. And then always would recommend that they're on that Monday night client celebration call. And, because we oftentimes layer coaching in that call, and then they can stay on for the coach celebration. So just a couple of tips that may help get the word out on, especially with all the different levels. So just wanted to share that.
Very good.
Dee, can I say something?
Yes.
Because I don't have coaches under me yet, and I'm trying, but it was some of this was I just couldn't apply it yet. Mm-hmm. So it was confusing to me, a lot of it. Like when they were going through the whole diagram, I was trying to follow it, but I thought, okay, I think this is where, until you have something, you can apply this, it's kind of like Greek. It was kind of like before you became a coach, learning what a fueling was and all those things that are easy to understand now. So that was one thing that I struggled with. And so I kind of tuned out a little bit during that one. But then I did try to focus on what I could grasp in it. And I did like how they talked about, the whole process of the senior coach celebration, like, congratulations, are you having fun? All those little bullet points to kind of go through, which I'm very structured, and I like kind of having a system to follow. So I did like that. And then like, what's next? It doesn't stop there. It's like, okay, then it kind of helps you go, what's next? So I thought that they did a very good job on that. And I thought it was good to, as far as the map was concerned, it's where it said show them yours, like how available you are, and be available to them, and like take out your picture and really focus on them, because I think I'm assuming you would relate it just like you do a client. And even times when in clients, like like what's your next challenge, to try to motivate them. taking you out of it, like what you think they should do. It's like, okay, what do you think you need to do? You know.
And I think for that, Katie, I think what you can do is use it, since you don't have a coach yet, use what the language they were saying, but actually use it for yourself in terms like when they talked about the map, like it'll speak to you if you have gaps where you don't have a lot of coach candidates or something, that's speaking to you, that's the opportunity area. And they had gone on, I think they talked about, there was senior coach celebrations, but they talked about setting up celebration and tips.
Right.
So I guess the question would be, have you brought all your people, to your business coach to have one of those conversations with? Because that's where it happens. It's kind of tied into what Shauna was saying, is that the business coach can possibly see or posture coaching or layer it at least on top of your efforts to then create the Coach Explore opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I thought that was very powerful, and I was like Meg, a frontline coach for a long time. I focused primarily on clients, and I have several executive directors we have them on our team that are also that way. And I really truly would say to like myself, if I didn't say it out loud, like, well, my clients are just different. My clients are just different, that they're not looking for coaching, they're in a different demographic or they're whatever. And I just really liked the directness that they said that, let's see if I can find it exactly, but they basically said, like, statistics don't lie. And if we're thinking that, like, it's just in our mind, it's probably stemming first from our mindset and our energy around it. And then the way that we're posturing and the conversations that we're having. So it just really reflects more of just a skill development need. And that's where I love that your business coach can help with that, because I needed help with it big time.
If I might say something, everyone.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi,
so I like how, Carol said also in that, she had all of the clients and she wasn't looking for the coaches, and she was overwhelmed with that until she switched over to that. And I love that. Unveil who are your coach candidates. And I'm like, that like clicked for me, thinking, those words are just different than as I'm looking for my coaches and my candidates, just like unveil. They're like right there, like take that veil off and let's see who's possible.
Oops, we lost you. We lost your sound again, Zena. Zena? We still can't hear you. We still can't hear you.
Nobody?
No, we didn't catch the rest of it. Now we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, where was I? What didn't you hear?
That the unveiling. I love that language, that the coaches are there. You just have to unveil them.
Right. And it just made me look different about them, I all of a sudden looked different, and I looked at my map and I took a look and it just seemed different for me. And, it's just where they say also with the map, I want to just say this also, because they talked about it. It's like, the consistency is the key. And, what can I do to help you, with, maybe my coaches, maybe not doing a map. And now I get to see the importance of it. So I think that was a big part on that, listening to that too, that really struck me. And, hey, I'm working on it and I'm seeing what I need to do. And is there anything I can do to help you or anything you want help with? So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. Thank you for that, Zena. That, like Meg said in the comments as well, the map talks to you, and I have to do the same thing. It's not a to-do. The map is not a to-do list, like check, I did my map, or check, I'm fine with my business, I don't need it. Because if we're not completing the map, and this is for senior coach and above, and your coach, if you're recently a senior coach, your coach will train you on this. But basically, it's like the difference between, the way it's been described to me is the difference between a transaction business. Transaction is just bringing on clients and clients and clients and replacing them when they fall off and whatnot, versus a transformation and a health coach who is somebody who is actively engaging with our clients to bring them all the opportunities of that Optavia offers to bring true health. And that map is the guide to really showing and reflecting our actions and our conversations around that. So, I keep a whole list I'm a card person, a list person. I've got all my coach candidates listed here so they're visible, so that, because I'll forget. If I don't have them visible, I'll forget. And then if I haven't had a conversation with that person or they didn't answer my call, it could be a long time between calls about coaching. So that was good. Julie asked a great question. Does anybody have any fears around coaching coaches? And, because I know I did. Meg said that she did. I think every coach here has had some apprehension. How do you recommend? I was going to Shauna's question. What are your fears around it? And maybe we can talk through something of that nature.
Yeah, Kristen posted in the chat. Kristen, will you pop off mute real quick and tell us more? You said lots of fear. You may not always be the best coach. So how can you help them be the best? Would you mind popping off a mute and just sharing more about your heart in that? Because you are a rock star business coach, girl. And I think you're still muted. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
She'll find her. I can try to unmute her. I don't see Kristen. Oh, there she is. Let me try.
I think it's her earbuds.
Can
you try now? Can you press the volume up on your computer? Because I totally goofed up today with that. Is that not it? Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to speculate. I don't want to put words in your mouth on what that fear. You want to try again? Say something. To answer your question, Shauna, I don't show my map to my team. What I do is I say I am submitting my map, and I would like to know from you what your plans are so I can allocate my time for the month to help you reach your goals. So I need to see what they need, what they're striving for. So Kristen, is your concern more about maybe not having all the right answers, or being able to inspire or direct a coach on how to be successful? Okay. Did you have those? Well, she's nodding yes. Did you have those same kind of fears when Meg first talked to you about coaching and coaching clients? Did you have those kind of fears? And so was it through experience, and did you magically get better at coaching clients, or did it happen through experience? Yeah, so I can't really. So, generally my feeling is I think we all have apprehension about experience. Thank you. So it's through the action of doing it. That's how we get better. I think that we have a hard time letting ourselves be beginners at something. Right? And you're going to be a beginner business coach. And it's okay. Honestly, I would love to go back and talk to my first clients I ever coached, because I didn't do a very good job. And also my first coaches, that I just didn't really know what I was doing, or I was scared. I didn't want to offend them. I didn't know. I thought, all that stuff that goes through our head. And through experience, and working with your coach, you guide, and you just start figuring it out and to start following. And really the best thing to do with a new coach is just to plug them into the system. Get on some calls with them and get them in motion, and then plug them into the system.
Can you hear me, Naudi?
Yeah, there you are. Good.
Sorry, the AirPods were connected and they wouldn't let me disconnect.
Okay, there we go. So, is that helpful? Like just recognizing that it will get better with practice?
It is, and I feel like it's gotten better. It's just, I ask, I try to put it out there, and like, I can just go through the people who are, interested in it. But then when I try to follow up, it's like, well, I don't have anybody to do it, which is how I was too. And then other responses are that they're too private. And, I had one lady who's lost like 100 pounds and she's now, in maintenance, but she's never wanted anyone to know anything about it. And people would ask her and she told me she won't tell them unless they ask a second time. And then she'll decide like for me if she thinks they're serious. And then I was like, well, you can always coach them or something like that. And whenever, I have people refer to me, I offer, it'd be great if you want to coach them. And it's, well, I just don't have the time, or, I'm not interested in that. I'd rather just have, the referral fee and you can take care of that. And it's just, because I've built up to executive director mostly by frontline volume. I have coaches under me, but I think my realization from watching the training was like not mistake, but my biggest kind of regret is that I really wish I had built coaches under me and done it more of a integrated path instead of doing it all with the frontline volume. Because like y'all mentioned, it's like I wanted all the clients for myself because I was scared if somebody like falls off or whatever. But now it's like, I want that sustainability. So I just feel like whenever I put it out there, it's turned down, and I don't think I know how to drip very well onto people and bring it up. It's like once I hear, no, not right now or whatever, I just forget about it and not constantly bring it up.
So something I recently heard was, well, really two things I would say. That the average person says no like 7 or 8 times before they say yes to coaching. So, your business coach was one that said that, and you probably said no a few times as well. Raise your hand if you said no to your coach the first time. Look, I can see one screen. Almost all of us said no the first time. That is very normal, Kristen. So I think what we want to do is just get our comfort up with the follow-up and continue to present it. And so somebody recently, I just heard that, at a minimum, we should be documenting their file, and at a minimum once a month, be offering it to them at a minimum. And a lot of times too, we have to watch the language between just dripping like, hey, you could do this. Or if somebody says the time issue, say, well, you know what, how about we just explore this? Because I think that there might be a little bit of a misconception of what this really entails. And it's usually people just like you that are extremely busy that do this. Would you like to just explore it and take a deeper look and actually extend an invitation? And Meg can help you with that. And then also making sure that you're taking advantage of those tips calls and bringing your clients to Meg so that she can layer and reinforce that. Everything that you've been saying and edify you, and then also present it and show it a little bit bigger. And I mean, I did that with Meg before Meg became a coach, brought her to Susan, just because I felt like she just needed to see it just a little bit bigger than me.
Definitely. That's helpful. I think learning what to say to drip on people, because you don't every time want to say, be like, you're a great coach, or you would be a great coach. It's like,
Yeah, and I think that training was really good. If you listen to Carol, like she really talks to her clients, and there was something where she reiterated something like the person was super busy, and so she was like, well, it sounds like you need more time, that you'd like more time and maybe a little more income. Is that what I heard you say? Like she repeats it back, and then she said, and then what she's doing there is like, would you like some ideas around that, or could I help you with that? Because so often people, and I will posture it this way, I'll say, a lot of times you might just be thinking I'm asking or offering this to you for one more thing to do, but it doesn't have to be that. This could actually be your gateway and help you change and reorganize your life around the way that you would like it to be. Would you like to see what that could look like?
Yeah, I love that. Thanks.
Meg, we're on like the 1 minute mark. I missed some of the commentary in the chat. Can you maybe bring me up to speed, or anything you'd like to make sure we maybe verbalize if anybody else missed?
Yeah, absolutely. So many great things in the chat that would love to just sit here and go through everything. But one tip that we just wanted to share, as far as helping whoever you're trying to help become a blended path ED, how to help them help their future senior coaches underneath them, it's so easy to forget what you did when you were first starting out to get to senior coach. So we recommend going back and telling your blended path ED, what do you think so-and-so, let's say it's Debbie, what do you think Debbie needs so that Debbie can get to senior coach? What was most helpful for you? Let's say it's Kristen. Kristen, what was most helpful for you in getting to senior coach when you were first getting started? So put yourself back in that creation stage and ask your blended path ED to get in that creation stage and thinking like the person who's just starting out. That was a tip that I learned that was really helpful, because it's easy once you got, you're kind of going where you're going, and it's easy to forget what it was like when you first got started. So just wanted to pass that little tip on.
Very helpful. Very helpful. All right. Well, we can continue the conversations around this as well. I think there's definitely some opportunity for us to continue to talk through some of this, what do we say, and conversations. So we'll add this to the list for ongoing training. Next week will be on social media. It's going to be a great one. So I'll go ahead and post those links soon. I want you to be able to do that, maybe even some of the pre-training on it, because it's pretty advanced. Let's going to go ahead and hop on over to Dr. A's call. All of the links to the various calls tonight are in our Facebook group, in the event for the Monday Night Coach calls, and in the tagged announcement post. So thank you, Meg. Thank you, Julie, for helping out. Thank you guys for participating. And we'll see you next week, or we'll see you on boot camp tomorrow night at 8. Thanks.